headline winner of the night, the headline battle winner, Milwaukee's best bit machine, Christopher Schmidt!
Thank you. I said some really hurtful things about a friend to get this time, so let's make that count. I hope that everybody who's drinking tonight does so responsibly. I not too long ago hit a guy with my car. And if I hadn't been sober, I might have missed him. My heart goes out to that guy's wife and kids. I tried to hit them too, but I wasn't that sober. I really hate to break up a family. And don't anyone get uptight on me about that. That's an anti-drinking and driving joke. But a pro-murder joke. The message being, if you're going to kill someone, do so with intent. Make it count. I hate when people get uptight about jokes. I hate when people say too soon. You tell a joke and they're like, too soon, too soon. Shut up. No, it's not. If I waited any longer, the funeral would be over. There's nothing sadder than a eulogy without any punchlines. I'm the first person from my family to graduate college. Now silence those applause. It took me 7 years. That shouldn't even count. That's not a ceremony you walk in. That's one you crawl to. I think the only reason it took me so long was I couldn't decide what I was going for. When I finally declared my major, I had to do it the same way you would pick a prize at Dave & Buster's. By bringing all of my credits up to a desk. And saying, look, I just got to get out of here. What can I get with this? Please tell me something. I got an English degree. That's the joke right there. I would have been so much happier with one of those plush basketballs. Because I would have had a way to use one of those. The only time I use my English degree is when someone asks me how I'm doing, and I say well instead of good. And usually I don't even do that because I want people to like me. It's annoying when people nitpick your grammar. I got a friend who picks apart everything I say. One time I offered to borrow him a book. And you fellow English majors know the mistake I just made. He pounced on it before I could correct myself. He was like, oh, you'll borrow me that book? I think what you meant to say, English major, is you'll lend it to me. You know, why do you gotta rub salt in my wounds? I was just trying to share something with you. I said, what did you go to school for again? Oh yeah, graphic design? Then how come your kid's face is so visually unappealing? Maybe you should worry less about my verb form and more about photoshopping those baby pictures. Graphic designer. That shut him up. He was like, hey, you didn't have to make it so personal. You know what? You and me, we're through. I said, hey, come on. You're never supposed to end a friendship on a preposition. That's a rule. Probably all learned something from that joke right there. That's good. I'm also a teacher. We got any other teachers in the room? We got any good teachers in the room? You know you're a good teacher if you'll admit to being a good teacher. I'm not a good teacher. I'm a bad authority figure. My thing is I have a really hard time telling my students no. Especially when they ask if I'm looking to buy weed. It's a stressful job. And I kind of need that discount they'll give me for a passing grade. You just can't afford to turn down a good deal on a teacher's salary. A lot of people think marijuana negatively affects academic performance. I know for a fact it doesn't. Because after I started smoking pot, all of my students' grades drastically improved. Their essays used to be pretty hard to read. Now I'm like, hey, I think how you don't constrain yourself with conventional spelling. Your writing flows so well without any punctuation whatsoever. I used to give out a lot of F's, now I'm giving out FOs. For far out. You might say my hopes for them have never been higher. Those of you who applauded were right to do so. That was the proper way to end that bit. It's an obligatory pun. As you all heard earlier, I didn't lose my virginity until I was in my 20s. That's been a talking point tonight. You know what? I don't have a problem with it. I'm okay with it. It's taught me patience. That's one good thing. And also, since I lost it, I've had sex almost every year except for 2 years. So, and those were consecutive years. So it was really just like one really long year. And wrestling was outstanding during that period. So, I mean sex. I think I've actually learned beneficial things about myself. Like one thing I know about me is I can go over a quarter of a century without getting laid and not shoot up a campus over it. Pretty cool. How many of the rest of you know the ceiling of your toxic masculinity? Mine's sitting comfortably below lethal. Also, I think I'm more considerate in bed as a result. Like one time, I actually stopped a woman from going down on me because I had Indian food for lunch that day. Any other gentlemen in the room? I just don't think curry is a good mystery flavor. It's not a fun surprise. You know? And I think the fact that I'm willing to pass up oral sex in order to spare her an unpleasant experience makes me a feminist. Although obviously not a full-blown one. So my girlfriend and I recently moved into separate apartments. We all knew that was coming. Honestly, if I would have remembered how much I hate lifting furniture, I probably would have fought harder for the relationship. We were ready to move on, but I wasn't ready to move a couch. It was hard because we broke up when we still had 2 months left in the lease of our one-bedroom apartment, so that was tough. You know when you find one of your ex's hairs and you have that moment and you're kind of sad about it? That was my life every day for 2 months, except it was all of her hairs, and they were still connected to her head. She was like, let go of my hair, you creep. That's why we broke up. It's hard breaking up with someone you live with, because first you gotta get over losing them, and then you gotta get over losing all their stuff. And she had the better stuff. She got the bed, now I have to sleep on a futon. She got all the dishes, now I have to eat off cardboard boxes. She got the TV, now I have to watch it from the bushes outside her apartment. Fortunately, I got the remote. But she got the batteries, so... It's hard. I'm a big music fan, love listening to music. My favorite guitar player is still Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. They say Jimi Hendrix was so good at guitar that he could play in his sleep. It's too bad he wasn't that good at throwing up. Don't you dare say too soon. Happened at exactly the right time. He died a legend before he could live to collaborate with Rob Thomas. That is the joke that got me banned for life from the Hard Rock Cafe. Which is the best thing that's ever happened to me at a Hard Rock Cafe. Sad. Hendrix died at 27, so did Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, a lot of musicians die at 27. Probably because that's how long they make it after getting kicked off their parents' insurance. Lethal combination isn't sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's sex, drugs, and a failing healthcare system. So the point I want to leave you with is that it is important to call out racism wherever you encounter it. Woo! Thank you. I was shopping at a record store the other day. I asked the clerk if he had any recommendations. He suggested I check out the Black Keys. I was like, no. Her name is Alicia. That's good. out to your voice stretch rally yesterday. Thank you all so much. I've been Chris Schmidt.